Hey guys, today I'm going to be going over the Subtlety Rogue patch 6.2.3 PvE opener. So let's just get right into it. I'm going to be going over the one macro that's relevant explicitly to the opener, promptly named opener, where it handles on the first cast both our pre-pot and our Vanish, and on the second cast our Shadow Reflection and our Rupture. Excuse me for a minute, let me just move that. There we go. Okay. Um, yeah, I mean, fairly simple. You cast it the first time. You can cast it from pretty much wherever range from the boss, and that's why the ordering is so important. You can be all the way off in Africa, 100 million miles away from the boss, and you'll still be able to cast your pre-pot and your Vanish 1 second before the pull, which is important. And then you can cast the second part, which has your Reflect and your Rupture when you are actually in melee range of the boss. So yeah, I have it down right here. Before I go explicitly into the opener, I'll just want to explain primarily that not just the opener, but Subtlety Rogue Subtlety play in general relies so much on predicting Honor Among Thieves procs, which is why I have this tracker right here. It relies so much on that, and of course, with me being the only one here, I'm not going to be able to if you're in even like a 5-man, especially a well geared 5-man, but especially if you're in a 10-man, no matter what, you're going to be expecting a combo point every 2 seconds from this thing. 5-man with well geared players, I think you'd still be able to get away with expecting a combo point every 2 seconds, but me being by myself, I can't expect that, unfortunately. So just know that there's going to be a bit of a discrepancy because of me not being able to expect the combo points. Also keep in mind, of course, that I don't have crit, I don't have mastery, I don't have what's it called, agility or whatever. That doesn't matter. The only one that really matters in terms of like actually affecting the opener is crit because of how it affects Honor Among Thieves. But yeah, we just went into that. So what I'm first going to do is explain what happened in the first few seconds of the opener, because so much happened in such a low amount of such a small window that I feel like I won't be able to explain it in real time. I'll try to, but in case I can't, I want to know that I at least went into it beforehand. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna cast your your pre-med, 10 to 12 seconds before the pull. It's not that like a lot of people think like you have to do it 12 seconds and you have to bug your your tanks about doing a 12-second pull timer, which isn't a bad thing. Most people won't have an issue with it. Just know that it isn't like make or break. You're gonna get a max one usage of pre-med, one extra usage if you do it completely perfectly. And the only difference this makes in the opener is that if you do it at 12 seconds, you can comfortably cast it a second time during your Shadow Dance, because it'll come up so early that you'll be able to you'll see it coming off cooldown. You'll be like, oh, okay, I still have 3 seconds left of my Shadow Dance, which is normally when it'll come off cooldown. I can easily fit this in. While of course if you do 10 seconds, your pre-med's gonna come off cooldown. There's gonna be a conflict where it's your pre-med's gonna come off cooldown when your Shadow Dance is about to end, and you have to make a choice do I try to fit in this pre-med right before I do my ambush, because pre-med doesn't go on, it doesn't have a global cooldown. It doesn't affect the global cooldown, but still, it's 2 key presses, and it's hard to explain unless you're in the scenario where you're in the fight and you're trying to just squeeze as much DPS as possible, and it's you see that decision coming up, and it's just keep in mind it's a lot hard. It's a lot harder to fit it in, but here's the kicker: you're gonna be able to do your second pre-med during the second Vanish, which is only a few seconds afterwards. The only difference between 10 and 12 seconds is really when you use it, but you're still using it within the same amount of time, really. It isn't that important. Don't stress yourself over it. But yeah, we're casting pre-med 10 to 12 seconds before the pull. At 2 seconds before the pull, we're casting our Slice and Dice. 1 second, right after the global cooldown of that Slice and Dice has ended, we're going to be casting the first part of our macro, which handles, of course, the pre-pot and the Vanish. And then, right after that, depending on whether or not you control the ring, you're going to cast the ring, and then you're going to cast the second part of your opener pretty much whenever you can. You want to do it like right afterwards, but of course if you're not in melee range, you're going to do it as soon as you get into melee range. And after that, we finally go into our Shadow Dance and our ambush spamming. So let's just get right into it. I'm not going to do a pull timer on this, but what I am going to do is just use pre-med, and then when that gets to like 12 or 11 seconds, I'm going to start going ham. Yep. Okay, so I'll wait for 11. Slice and dice. First part of the opener, the ring. Second part of the opener, casting a Shadow Dance and ambush. Using preparation at a time where I won't cap energy. Refreshing that. Using the pre-med. See, I'm still able to fit it in. Refreshing slice and dice. And now I'm just waiting until the last possible moment, pretty much, to use the second Vanish. And I'm going to explain that afterwards. But yep, just I sort of failed to what's it called? I don't know if I didn't pull properly, but I'm gonna explain that afterwards. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna keep going until the second Shadow Dance, but at this point you would just, you know, pool energy. If you have the Glyph of Energy, you can pool up to like 80 until you start casting Backstab. I'm used to not having the Glyph of Energy where you pool more like into 90 or something. But yeah, you can see Shadow Dance is about to come off cooldown, so I'm going to keep that in mind. Gonna dump these combo points, and then I'm going to try to like spend as little as I can. There we go.
That ability isn't ready yet.
Then I'm gonna be able to end this Shadow Dance with another one.
Not enough energy. I don't have enough energy.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Not enough energy.
Let me get away from this. One thing I messed up, of course, was the second Vanish. The second Vanish, what you do is you use it either when you are about to cap, like you use it after Shadow Dance, either when you're about to cap energy or when you are about to get 5 combo points. And the reason for that is because you want to pool as much energy as possible so that you can get 3 ambush casts within your subterfuge window, which is totally possible. It should have, like, I don't know if it was just like RNG on my side, like the casts or whatever, or what, but I was like, if you saw, I was like at 59 energy, like when the subterfuge ended, and believe me, I was spamming that key. But yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. I think the saying goes, do as I say, not as I do. And one other thing I was going to, oh yeah, when I was doing the second Shadow Dance, you probably saw that I don't know if this is a big question asked, but you probably saw that I both had Shadow Dance and Subterfuge up at the last moment. And a question I want to sort of address is if you should use that last ambush for at the end of the Subterfuge for the Find Weakness uptime, or at the end of the Shadow Dance for the energy. And I say at the end of the Shadow Dance because really, as you saw, I don't think it was even a second that they were separate from each other. Like the Subterfuge and the Shadow Dance were gonna end like within the same second, and like saving that 20 energy is like pretty damn important. Getting the extra like 0.5 seconds of Find Weakness uptime isn't as important. In patch 6.2 with Hellfire Citadel and especially the new tier and the new and the class trinket, Subtlety has kind of drifted away from Find Weakness uptime and more into ambush cast, because ambush contributes to so much of our energy, so much of our DPS. I mean, like if I were to pull a top parse from me, you'd see that like ambush contributes to at least 30% of our damage. And then of course you have your rupture, you have your eviscerate, which eviscerate's still an important part, but eviscerate's no longer at the top. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Like in lieu of explaining the difference between like the importance of either saving energy or Find Weakness uptime, just keep in mind that the spec isn't like so like tied into Find Weakness uptime, and that's why our Vanish usage is how it is now. Like we use Vanish like pretty much when it's off cooldown. Like as soon as you see that button show up, you're casting Vanish, because it's so important to just get as many ambush casts throughout the fight as we can. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, another note. during the Shadow Dance, you saw I cast Preparation, which is of course what you do. You pretty much want to cast Preparation at a time where you won't cap energy during your Shadow Dance. And that's, like, for me, that's like 2 ambushes in. So yeah, you fit in the Preparation at a time where you won't cap energy. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty much I went through all the sort of notes that I guess you should go through. If you like this video, feel free to leave feedback down at the bottom. We can have some discussion, I suppose, if anyone even sees this. And yeah, thanks for watching.